Makhosi Khoza has resigned as ActionSA's KZN chairperson. She says she's taking time off to help grow the family business. However, Khoza previously said she'd been targeted by the party leadership on suspicion of colluding with the ANC. She remains a member of the party and councillor in eThekwini. For more on this, we are joined by ActionSA's leader, Herman Mashaba. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mashaba. We do appreciate it. I think let's just get clarity as to why Makhosi Khoza resigned as ActionSA's KZN chairperson. What was the reasons that you were given by Dr. Khoza?
Well, thank you very much, Heidi. As you are aware, as ActionSA, we've been dealing with this case the entire week already, and it does not seem to want to go away. It looks like ActionSA is really liked by people to be out there in their face on a daily basis, because we just cannot understand. I personally cannot understand. That's why today I've obviously taken a decision to really give you the letter of Dr. Makhosi's resigning from the position of a chairperson and removal from the Senate of ActionSA. Upon my acceptance of her proposal, all of a sudden, we learned that she's being pushed. I don't really understand. So it looks like when we were sent this letter, there must have been another agenda, perhaps for me to give a counter offer. But that's not something that I cannot that I can respond to, because I received the letter and I read it as it is in simple English. Someone requesting to really focus on council matters and family business. Now, all of a sudden, she's been pushed. It's really quite unfortunate, including actually seeing it in some of the media publications this afternoon.
In the letter that you've actually sent to me prior to this interview, I do understand that Makhosi Khoza has made it quite clear that she was expected to be the leader of KZN for ActionSA, but also be a councillor. And she said that she found this to be quite problematic. And I know that she has also done other media interviews where she's expressed how she was expected to almost do two people's jobs on one salary. Do you not find this problematic, and do you not think that she was supposed to be remunerated for both positions?
And she was being remunerated for being a councillor by this eThekwini municipality, because obviously we were paying her, or we are paying her more than what a normal councillor received while she was serving as the chairperson. And what we were doing, agreed with her, we were paying, augmenting her salary of council to augment what she was getting as a provincial chairperson. But she felt that was not good enough, and that if she can really be given an opportunity in her letter, that she'll be given an opportunity to stop focusing on saving the country, but focus on a family interest there, and as a single mother. It is there in a letter. But then when I accepted it, because we did not have the resources to offer her more than what we were giving her, and I don't know, obviously, what the reasoning was. I think it's also quite interesting is that a week after submitting this resignation, when I accepted, by that time, we learned this through the media that she was already elected as a chairperson of Section 79 MPEG by the ANC. And when we learned about this, and I shared this with our Senate majority of them were not really pleased with the development. But we still, however, said let it really continue. Because, and the reason why some of the senators were not happy is because few days before, Dr. Khoza wanted an urgent Senate meeting complaining about one of the councillors from Newcastle who took up a position without informing her and Senate about it. And we had a Senate meeting. We decided to take this matter through a disciplinary process. We supported her. And 2 days later, she accepted a position with the ANC, with MPEG. But when we looked at it as Senate, we said, look, you know what? The MPEC is an independent body. Hopefully, with Dr. Makhosi, with experience of ANC thuggery and corruption, she might really be the right person. So let's let her continue. And we issued a statement to that effect, which she co-signed for us to send out. So we are surprised now, the last few days or so, all of a sudden she's been kicked out. I don't know by who, but I think it's actually quite unfortunate.
So let's just get this straight, because I think there's a lot of confusion with regards to how there have been comments and remarks made about how she was elected with ANC support to eThekwini's Municipal Public Account Committee. Is this the actual problem? Is this why you would opt for her not to be KZN's leader of ActionSA? You know, just help us understand this, because she's still a member of ActionSA, is she not? So is this not problematic for you?
And she's still a councillor.
Okay.
Honestly, Heidi, there should not really be any confusion whatsoever. As I've indicated, even after Senate of ActionSA heard about this election over the media, we still were prepared to really accept that we proceed with it as a councillor and continue serving as MPEG with the ANC government. So we are still prepared to accept that. And we issued an official press statement that your organization is in possession of the entire media. So why all of a sudden she's now reneging on all this? It's bizarre. It's something that really, I find it difficult for me, honestly. I'm not used to dealing with fiction. I deal with facts, and I believe in the rule of law, and I believe in social justice as well. So, but let's accept it as it is. I think it's been a great week of media coverage for ActionSA, something that we appreciate. Because one thing for sure, no one is going to destabilize ActionSA. We started this with the People's Dialogue. 4.2 million South Africans gave us the mandate. And one of the mandates people gave us is to really watch against the people who can destabilize our organization. For people and commentators talking about Cope and Ahang, I can tell you, you know what, let them look at their comments a year ago, this time about ActionSA, and look at our groundbreaking electoral support, and look at what within the next, in the coming weeks and months, in preparation for 2024, because we are committed in fixing this country.
Sure. Sorry, Mr. Mashaba, I have to interject here. Because you're saying you're sticking to the facts. So tell us what the facts are. Where do things stand with Makhosi Khoza today? What is your relationship like with her as the leader of ActionSA? You mentioned earlier that you have laid a complaint with the disciplinary committee with regards to Makhosi Khoza. So where does that leave things? Where do things stand? And your consideration for her to still be a councillor?
Well, the facts of the matter as they stand right now, right now talking to you, as far as I'm aware, Dr. Khoza is still a member of ActionSA. Dr. Khoza is still a councillor in the municipality of eThekwini. But however, Herman Mashaba is the president of ActionSA, because my name was the one obviously brought into this situation. I have officially laid a complaint with ActionSA disciplinary committee to deal with this matter. I've already given them my side of the story, including today's media utterances. But however, we want, obviously, the process to really be fair. I don't sit on our disciplinary hearing. I expect them to really act with integrity, with fairness, and really come out with the outcome. But one thing that we have all committed ourselves as a Senate of ActionSA, we are not going to be the party that takes months and years to deal with simple matters like this.
But Mr. Mashaba, sorry, what are you hoping to come out of this complaint? I mean, you're the leader of ActionSA. You've laid a complaint against Makhosi Khoza, who's expressed that she feels as though she can't do both because she is not getting paid enough for both. She wants to focus on her business. So what is the complaint about? What are you hoping will be achieved from this complaint that you've lodged against her?
I think, Heidi, if you look at it to a large extent, my complaint is based on media reports, including some of the interviews that Dr. Makhosi has done. It is on those bases that I think it would be irresponsible of me to really come out with my judgment. What happens if the media has taken things out of context? And I make my judgment on that. So I think I think we are fair as society, as human beings. Let's leave this to a fair process of a disciplinary hearing, and they will come up with an outcome that is fair, that is legal.
Okay, Mr. Mashaba, just lastly, there were protesters outside City of Johannesburg's council a couple of days ago. It was ActionSA members protesting, saying that they stand by Makhosi Khoza and they wanted to engage with you. I want to get a sense from you as to whether or not you have engaged with these members and whether or not or what you expect South Africans to think of what is going on with Makhosi Khoza and the fact that you have members protesting because they're clearly unhappy around certain decisions that have been made in ActionSA.
Heidi, if you don't mind, I think let you and I not mislead society. Let me clarify something about this expelled former members of ActionSA, because I think it is not really fair to really give an impression to your listeners right now that people who came out to come and protest, to call them disgruntled ActionSA members. It's actually anyone who comes out that is misleading society. These are expelled former members who will never be members of ActionSA any longer, because these are the people saying that regardless of the outcome of the electoral the results, they expected us to change our PR list for them to be included. We don't understand who on earth these people are to think that we are a party of anarchy where people are just really put in as councillors. Our council list was submitted to the IEC 2 months before elections, and that list has never actually changed. And now why all of us, and these people were informed, all of them in writing about what type of what positions they stand on the list. Now, the City of Johannesburg, we received 244 the councillors. Now, if you're number 50, why should ActionSA then remove someone else and put you? And when we wanted to engage them to understand the processes and all the correspondences that we put them through, they then obviously refused to cooperate with our disciplinary hearing and therefore expel them. And we don't want them to really bring ANC tendencies to our organization. We are the party of the rule of law, and they will never be members of ActionSA any longer because they joined us as ActionSA for the wrong reasons.
Certainly. So I just want to clarify something. Of course, these members told our reporter, Govan Witzel's outside council that day that they still are members of ActionSA. So thank you for that clarity. Just lastly, Mr. Mashaba, we do know that council will be sitting again on Tuesday after there were disruptions because a special vote was supposed to take place and many wanted the vote not to happen. What are you expecting to happen on Tuesday? Do you think there are going to be further disruptions?
You know, Heidi and the residents of the City of Johannesburg and South Africa in particular, I'm a council member. On Friday, I received in the 3 months a paycheck. And to be honest with you, I feel so ashamed of myself to really be a councillor serving society, and the events of what took place with the ANC and EFF disrupting the proceeding is really very unfortunate. I wonder if those people have got a conscience to understand that they have been paid, they have been given breakfast when they get there, they are given lunch, they are given water throughout, and disrupt an official council meeting where the agenda was approved by the WIPARI. That elections are happening by show of hands. Now when elections should start happening, because unfortunately they realized that they did not have the numbers to really get their way, decided they're going to disrupt council meetings. And the visuals are there. But I'm glad that some of the people who were assaulted have laid criminal charges. And we are going to push as ActionSA to push the Speaker of Council to also lay additional charges for these people for exposing us to COVID-19. Because you can imagine, if you look at those visuals, that's why some of us decided to really stay at the back and not want to really be exposed. But if you look at the chaos that happened in council, I believe very strongly that we have to push the Speaker, because he has the constitutional obligation to protect our lives and our health. It is really very unfortunate. Let's see what happens on Tuesday. I hope by then that our law enforcement agencies at national level would have acted against those where there's clear evidence of their participation in assault of some of the councillors, and also at the same time, as you are aware, COVID-19 regulations a violation. It's a very serious case because you're threatening our lives. The council was run from 2 council chambers, so they decided to leave one chamber, came in, started singing throughout and disrupting and assaulting people with visuals there. So let's see what happens on Tuesday.
Okay.
We're not part of the discussion with those parties.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time this evening and for providing clarity. We'll be monitoring these stories very closely. Thank you so much for your time. That's the leader of ActionSA, Herman Mashaba.